Hey, I'm Jen Sincero, purveyor of badassery, and this is the first video in my video series for You Are a Badass 8 Weeks to Awesomeness group coaching program. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about excuses and give you some very practical, very easy tips to start unhooking yourself from these excuses that you are presently using to keep yourself in this cage of mediocrity and start moving towards creating the kind of life that you deep down know that you totally can, but you're just not making happen. So in order to get access to this video series, you were asked a question. And the question was, what is the number one thing stopping you from reaching your goals? And I gotta say, the answers that I got were just beyondo. So personal and brave and for reals, and some were totally hilarious. And so I'm going to share some of those with you now, and I'm going to tell you how I personally managed to blast past them to create the reality that I am now existing in. So some of the most common things I heard were lack of confidence, fear that you don't have the money to do what you need to do to move towards your goals, or that once you start moving towards your goals, you're going to lose all your money. There was a lot of fear of failure, a lot of fear of success, fear of being judged by others, fear of looking like a total idiot, feeling like you're too lazy or too old, or that you've got an illness that's stopping you, or you just don't have the time, you're totally overwhelmed, or that you have no freaking idea what the hell you even want, or that if you do know what you want, you have no idea how to even get started. A lot of people were stuck in this feeling that they can't have what they want, that they've got negative self-talk against it, that they have no focus, that they're completely distracted, totally easy. I mean, the list went on and on and on. And I gotta say, as I was reading it, I was like, totally, check, been there, oh yeah, totally, oh, that is totally me. So throughout the whole thing, I was just, I can totally relate to this, I swear to God. And you know, honestly, for me, I'd have to say my two, I mean, believe me, I had a long list of my own, but the two biggest ones for me were indecision. I was the queen of, I don't know. In fact, the second the words started to exit my mouth, I would hear the phone click on the other end because people were so sick of hearing me talk about how I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And distraction. I am so good at getting distracted. And so those are sort of my biggies. And the money thing, of course, was just like the gigantic gorilla that I was carrying around forever. So I just want you to know, wherever you are in this, I can totally relate, because I let these excuses keep me in just struggling in this sea of mediocrity for so long, for decades and decades. And I want to tell you that I am now sitting pretty much in the middle of my personal fantasy life. I travel the world all the time. I've created a business where I can have the freedom to do that and create the kind of money that lets me do it any way that I want to do it, which is crazy. Seriously, me, Jen Sincero, making money, that's like alien speak. Not only am I making great money, I'm doing it in a way where I get to help people and do stuff I love and do it in such an authentic way that I kind of can't believe I haven't been arrested yet. The latest full-blown, are you freaking kidding me miracle is I now have this incredible man in my life. My God, like, he's insane. And he also has his own business, and he also loves to travel, and he also travels all the time. So now I have a playmate and somebody who I just adore. And so I gotta tell ya, this kind of stuff did not seem even remotely possible, even though in my heart of hearts, this is everything I've ever wanted. But I had no idea how I was gonna get from where I was to where I am. So I'm going to give you a couple of things that you can start doing right now that can help you move in that direction, regardless of what your excuses are compared to what mine were. It's all the same stuff. Okay, so if you would like to get a pen, But the first thing you got to do is become aware of what this big gnarly excuse of yours is. So if you didn't answer the question yet, think about what you hear yourself saying all the time. How do you speak? What are you thinking about when you get scared? When you start moving towards your goal, what is the first thing that stops you? Like, oh, I can't because. So get clear on what your favorite excuses are that you are clinging to with all of your might. Awareness is the key to freedom. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is to get into reality about these excuses. And the reality about these excuses, and you're not going to like this, is that you are creating them yourself. And this is something that used to make me so pissed off and grouchy and defensive. And it's like, what are you talking about? I do not have any money. I don't know how to make money. I've never made money. I don't have any money. It's the truth. Or I don't know how to get a man. I'm terrible at intimacy. I don't even know how to flirt. You know, I don't even know how to dress or brush my hair. You know, or I don't have any idea what I want to do with my life. Are you kidding me? I've been trying to think of this forever. Right? Very real. Very grouchy when people say that I'm making it up. But let's shift ye olde mindset around this stuff. So let's say that your big excuse is that you just don't have the time, that you're so overwhelmed, you've got 9 kids and a job, and da-da-da-da-da. If you got hit by a bus tomorrow and were put in the hospital, would you find the time to go to the hospital? Does it exist, but you're just getting caught up in the squirrel's nest of deciding it doesn't? Or if it is about money, if you had to, if you don't have any money and you can't possibly spend the money to get where you're going, if you had to have open heart surgery tomorrow and it cost a crap load of money that you do not have, would you find the money if it meant you were going to die if you couldn't find it? Or if you can't decide what you want to do with your life, and this is something you've really been struggling with and you just don't even know where to start taking the first step, if I put a gun to your head and was like, I'm going to pull this trigger unless you figure it out, would you at least pick something and start moving in the direction you want to go? So this is how you need to start looking at it. It's literally this easy. And it reminds me of this concept that I heard about that I love that's called Mr. Magooing your way through life, where Mr. Magoo, if you don't know who he is, he's this old cartoon character that was like, Coke bottle glasses, totally blind, totally deaf, and he's doop-de-doo, crossing the street, and there's trucks swerving and horns honking, and there's a huge hole that he almost steps in, but he Mr. Magoo's his way across the street anyway, even though chaos is surrounding him. So when it comes to your excuses, they're gonna come up. They are totally gonna come up, but you need to just Mr. Magoo your way through them, as it's like, I don't have the time, I'm gonna look like an idiot, people are gonna judge me, just Mr. Magoo it away. And so one of the things you got to realize about this stuff is this is where this whole thing that we're talking about, stepping outside of your comfort zone, exists. So when you want to create a reality that you're not living in yet, it's going to be uncomfortable because you haven't experienced it yet. We're really super comfy in these excuses, and that is one of the main reasons that we stick by them for so long and that we defend them with our lives, because it's comfy. So when I'm talking about, if you couldn't find the money, if you needed the money for open heart surgery, you would find it, but it would mean you'd have to do something super scary or put yourself out there and ask somebody for it or take a big fat risk. But when it's important enough to you and when it's moving you towards something that you truly, truly want and that is going to change your life in a massively positive way, that's what's going to propel you through the fear of stepping outside your comfort zone with all of this stuff. So it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's not necessarily hard. That's the big thing that I want to stress here is it's not hard. Hard is sitting around feeling like a loser and feeling like you're wasting this one and only spin around the planet is you, being lame. Hard is stepping outside your comfort zone. When you're in it, it's scary and freaky and you're like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm doing it, but you feel alive, and that is fun. So first thing, recognize these excuses. Second thing, shift your mindset so that you really understand what's going on and that you understand that you're in control. And the third thing is one of the best ways to do this is through your breath. And I know this sounds super woo-woo and hippy-dippy and we've all heard it before, but really, really do it. So once you've recognized what these excuses are, when they come up, which they certainly will, step outside and start watching them and be like, oh, there's my excuse that I don't have any money. And so even though you may be like, I still don't got any money, breathe into it and breathe out. In and the exhale is extremely important. Create the space for the universe to show you how you might be able to find this money. It's so important, because if you don't give it the quiet moment and the room for it to come in, you're just going to stay in the hamster wheel. So take a deep breath, and this doesn't take a lot of time. It just takes the awareness of the excuse coming up again. So every time it comes up, keep breathing into it. It may not be instantaneous, or you may instantly get an idea. And when you get the idea that scares the crap out of you, that's when you've hit the bullseye. So keep listening for that. It's not going to be something that's necessarily comfortable. It's going to be something that's absolutely available, but perhaps maybe not so easy to wrap your little mind around or get over your fear about. Okay, so these are just some steps that you can start using literally today, right now, and it will start the process of getting you out of that rut and kicking these excuses to the curb. In the coaching program, I'm going to help you stay in that mind space and keep that muscle mighty and stay at the vibration that you need to be at to work this magic all the time. But this is absolutely where we start. So get your badass on, start recognizing these excuses, and take control and kick them to the curb.